we had a shock which affected the economy. It's called a crisis. It's instructive because before the shock in 2008, tens of millions of people a year died of starvation. Billions of people had no dignity, were robbed of circumstances that would be fulfilling in their lives. That wasn't the crisis. That's business as usual. Then something happened. The economy gets jostled, gets out of sync, and it's called a crisis. Why is it called a crisis? Because it affects those of power and wealth as well as those at the bottom. As long as it was affecting only those at the bottom, no problem. So to try and get it back into sync, one has to engage in certain policies. So what policies do you engage in? Well, if you're at the top of the system, if you're the master of the universe, if you're the people who are the beneficiaries of the system, you try to get back into sync by engaging in policies that leave yourself still at the top. And in fact, if possible, even better off. So the proposals or the policies that you see being implemented are partly to get out of the crisis, meaning the out of syncness of the economy, its dysfunctionalness. It's partly that, but it's also partly to further enrich and further empower the owners and the elite political elements in society. So the particular policies that are chosen, in particular cutting back all kinds of social programs and the like, weakens working class people and empowers those at the top. You could cut budgets and not do that. You could cut the military budget. You could cut a variety of components of budgets and not hurt those at the bottom. The actual reason for cutting what they cut is to hurt those at the bottom. In other words, to get back to a even keel economy, an economy which is functioning and not in disruption, but to do it in a way which leaves those at the top stronger. And that's what's going on. So in a sense, it's taking advantage of this disruption to further enrich and further empower those at the top. And if you look at each policy as it's proposed, you can try and think up an alternative policy. So for instance, demand is way down. So let's say demand is down 20%. So whatever we had before, now we need 20% less output. So what's the solution? Well, you could fire 1/5 of the labor force. So you fire 1 out of every 5 people, and you've gone down by 1/5 or 20%. And now you're producing the amount that fits demand. So that's one possibility. But here's another possibility. Cut back the length of the work week. Right? Cut the length of time that everybody works by 20%, but keep everybody employed. Okay, well, if you did that, people's income would drop if they get an hourly wage, and the people who have a low income would suffer. So you don't do it that way. You have everybody who earns less than $100,000 a year, to pick an arbitrary number, who earns less than $100,000 a year, continue to earn what they earned before. So basically, the working class gets 20% less, more leisure time, 20% more time off work, and gets the same income they had before. And the people above get the same rate of pay as before, so their income drops. And the difference comes out of the owners. Okay, so that's a way to deal with declining demand for goods that hurts those at the top, that makes those at the top pay, and empowers and strengthens those below in the whole working class. The alternative approach, firing workers, helps those at the top and hurts those below. It's not as if there's only one way to deal with problems. The way that's chosen is the way that's in the interests of those at the top.